You're Near the Wild with Matt Becker and John Norris, recorded in Anchorage, Alaska.
Hello?
Matt Becker.
That is correct, sir.
John's on his way, kinda.
What's he doing? Is he still playing Santa over at Northway Mall?
I don't know what's going on.
He's got a secret life we don't know about.
Well, no, I think he's at work, and I think he has to get to an area. You know what I mean?
Yeah, oh no, I know. But I still like to think he has a secret double life.
Yeah. We don't have very many reviews on iTunes. I think we should do something about that.
I think we need to push.
I don't know how. I mean, it's like I get to a jag sometimes where I'll review things on Amazon or eBay, you know? But then I'll do like 5, and then I won't do any for, 2 years.
Yeah, I do it with products. I get products. Like I just bought all these lights, and it was a decent deal. It was $20 for these voice activated rope, the lights with all the different LEDs, and they activate and you can set them. And I mean, compared to what you can find locally, they're like $40 at Costco, but I didn't pay 40. I got them for 20 a piece, plus free shipping with Amazon Prime. Well, one of the little power packs didn't work, but I'm going to attach probably 2 of them together, so I don't care. But at the same time, do I go on and go, hey, one of the fucking power packs didn't work? Do I send it back and then you send me a new one? So I'm not really giddy about their products, but I got it for half what I normally would pay. And so, I mean, that's it. That's the problem with the review right there.
Yeah, how much work do you do fixing something that you bought new? That's the conundrum I always have. Is like I just picked up this infrared sensor that I'm putting this gag together, and it kind of relies on this like plastic sheet that is the barrier to the electric eye, and it was like punched in, and it's like, well, all they're going to do, it's going to take me another 2 weeks to get one, and then like if I poke it out, it's going to still work, but it shouldn't have arrived. It came in a box. How is it? It makes me think it was poked. Like it was like, there's a damaged one, send that one out. You know what I mean? It's like, how much do I push back on that thing?
No, I got one of those motion alarms where if you set it with a little flipper thing and you put it on there and, you click it. It's a security alarm that runs on a 9-volt.
Yeah.
And it's just a little cone, but it's self-activated. It's not like an alarm system, but I was going to put it in Becky's car, and that way about 2 minutes into driving, it'll just start screaming. Hysterically funny.
So there's like a 2-minute lockout. Like you can do 2 minutes and then it'll start going, like a delay.
Yeah, then it just goes, what? Oh, this would be hysterical. I might cause an accident, but it's funny.
Well, it depends on it depends on how you time it. If you get her out of the intersection, you're fine. She's on a straightaway. There's a median. They're all going the same. It's like bumper cars. They wouldn't let you go out in bumper cars if they thought, you're going to, jump the rail and start rolling around the amusement park. You get her in a straightaway. What's at worst? You're going to have to pay for a new rim on a car.
Oh, it's just, and I thought about they were cheap enough. I could just leave it in a cab and get out. And then the next people, they don't know how to shut it off because they don't have the remote.
You get one of those drivers who does short runs, and you'll be like 3 customers away. They'll never trace it back.
Nope. But yeah, so that was my idea. And it had a little plastic cover on it, like a frosted thing where the motion sensor worked. Yeah. And it had a little bit of cloudiness on it. So I go, I should wipe that off. So I went to wipe it off, and it went from convex to concaved. And I don't know how to get it back out. I'm like, I've taken like a little suction cup and tried to pull it out, but it's just backwards now. And it doesn't really affect it like you said, but now I'm going, well, now it's just kind of fucked up.
Yeah, I don't know that it's not like a prism. Like it somehow amplifies what it's detecting. I think it's really like a dust cover. Like it can't have solid plastic over there, but a thin sheet of mylar is enough. Yeah. Well.
But they said it was weatherproof. I go, well, now it's open, so I don't think it's weatherproof at all.
It's not rainproof.
Yeah. So I've been saying this for a long time though. China's been making cheaper and cheaper crap for us. And this year with Christmas lights, you got to be really careful. They're now saying what they did is they started just printing their own. This is approved by who is it? The electrical approval. UL. Yeah.
United.
They started just printing those on the lights.
Oh, like, so like they're, it's like when they used to, when they came up with a city called USA. So it's made in USA, and it was like in Italy somewhere. It's like, oh, come on. So
yeah, no, we've been getting scammed on repeatedly, but I think you should be more worried about Christmas lights than terrorism this year. Because the more I read about it, the more they just dumped lights on us.
So you think that the quality of the lights, because everyone, I mean, LED lights are so cheap now, people buy them by the armfuls. You think that they're making them so cheap now that there's danger in using them?
They said there is danger. They said if you were going to start a fire and you were in the woods and you could get lights, they would be the better starter than anything else.
Than a Bear Grylls emergency flint starter.
Oh, thank God I found Christmas lights. We're safe. But yeah, they're scaring me now because I go, you know me, I drape lights all over my body and run around with them lit up. People, how are those lit? I don't know, batteries. But now the batteries and everything combined, they said they can burst into flames, just like the scooters. The
hoverboard.
The hoverboard, because you're flying above the debris apparently.
Now, this is I got a problem with this. I see those things floating around, literally not floating around, but I see them around, and I didn't know what they were called, but they look like a what was that thing? A Segway, like a Segway without the handlebars. I think that's what John called it. Mm-hmm. But I didn't know what it was called, and then I come to find out they're called hoverboard, and it's like, we were waiting for so long for hoverboards to come around that they finally just threw the name on the quickest thing that they could put it to without it actually.
Kind of like Nike with that, with LeBron James.
But it's not really a hoverboard. It's not hovering over anything. It is rolling with a wheel on the ground. Now it's a fair bit of technology for $300. I got to admit that.
I'm telling you, for right now, it's pretty damn slick, right?
Absolutely.
What I said. And just like LeBron James, now Nike's stuck with him. When he's 80, are you still going to be buying the shoes? He shuffles around in these at the nursing home.
Hey, look, they've got Velcro.
I mean, that's my point. Things have a limited shelf life. Stop using the old name.
So when the actual hoverboard comes out in maybe 2 years, now what do you call it?
Jetpack.
The real hoverboard. I don't know. Hoverboard X. What the fuck? They blew that name.
Yeah.
I heard
that's it.
I heard that Shark Tank, what's his name? Mark Cuban is he actually is with the company that designed that technology or patented that technology, and they're suing the fuck out of everyone they can. Because they're just, I mean, it's like everything I was saying before with my brother and Halloween. As soon as China sniffs something that the market is going to be going for, then they go all out in replicating.
All you got to do is go back and look at remember the scooter. The scooter company is your perfect example.
The Razor?
Remember they made the little Razor scooter.
Yeah, the two-wheel.
They were selling 1.3 million a month or whatever they were selling during the holiday. It was a hot item.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden their orders started dropping, and he started going to all their distributor stores, and he goes, "Hey, you have Razor, a whole stack of these scooters. These aren't ours."
Yeah. You got to get that.
Hello?
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Is that John?
No, that was Rami. Rami had picked up some stuff in Las Vegas for me, and he hadn't delivered it, so he stopped by to drop it off.
Excellent. So the Razor scooter.
So anyway, so what happens is this poor guy, he has orders, and then you look it up the story, and it was in it would have been 2006, maybe 7.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes to the stores, and they got Razor scooter piles, like at Walgreens. They got them stacked to the roof, and he goes, "Those aren't mine.
Yeah,
I own these." And they said, "Well, we got them, and so they aren't liable for buying the knockoffs. The company that made them is, and they're in China, and what they do apparently is they run these little factories. They do the run of the knockoffs. The LLC closes, and then you can sue that former company that doesn't exist anymore. It's a phantom company."
Yeah, yeah.
So they make them, and they're on the shelf. They're printed and shipped out before you can. And he goes, "You'd be," the lawyer told him, the copyright guy, he goes, "Yeah, you have the worldwide patent." He goes, "You can sue a phantom company in China in Chinese courts with Chinese lawyers, and if you win, you'll have more in court costs than you will in actual settlement."
Yeah, and what you're gonna, and then you might win something, but you might not be able to collect anything.
Yep. And his company was outside Nevada near Pahrump. And he goes, we closed. I can't, if there's no enforcement.
Yeah.
So right now, get this. I just read this today. China cracking down on grift, right? Because they're a big shell game and they're about to come full circle now. They need a war. But, so the people are getting mad. You see Beijing's completely fogged in with complete pea soup air quality.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy.
10 times the breathable limit. 10 times, maybe more, based on the fact unfortunately, all their meters were made in fucking China. So
they're not calibrated for actual breathing air because they don't know.
They now make them an LED so you can read the numbers through the fog. But so anyway, what happened is they want to crack down on corruption. They said that they don't understand any of the laws and in the countries. So while they're tracking graft like back to the U.S. where they were doing those casino junkets and sending money over here and huge things and buying tracts of land in California, they're buying housing projects and they're moving over here, dropping their babies and then staying. It's amazing what's going on right now.
Yeah.
Considering, we have a lot of things we could actually focus on, and that should probably be most of them. But, so anyway, so this is what's going on. Anyway, he said that the corruption people can only prosecute in China because they don't they're coming over here like they have all the rights of Chinese legal, because it's government run. So they come over and go, we don't have to read your rights or get a search warrant, or we're going to come in, open his bank account. We want to take all the money. And they're like, you can't. You need a court order. And they go, yeah. And they go, did you guys get visas to come here? And they go, no, why? They go, you aren't even legally allowed here. So it's a big mess.
But doing something in an international court, or like I don't even know how someone would sue unless you're a huge multinational corporation. I don't know how like a person would sue a company in China and then expect any kind of reasonable outcome.
No, but the beauty is that people from China think it's like China when they come over here. And they're like, well, you have rules? And we go, yeah, we have rules, you fucking fuck. Yeah, there's a reason why we put rules in place. They said that with all the espionage they do with companies. They think what they're really doing is stealing the information, not to steal our current information, to figure out how we work. They said that's what they think the Chinese are doing.
Like a reverse engineer type thing?
Right. They literally want to find out, like, how does your Supreme Court work and how is it maintained? How do people not rebel and like go, you can't have unlimited Supreme Court? That's what they think they're studying. They're studying us as like a little like a petri dish. They're going, how does the U.S. work?
Like a bug under a magnifying glass, just trying to see.
And do we need more guns? Yeah. Do we need more guns in China? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Did you see the knife attack? The knife attack. 29 dead.
Wait, no.
Yeah, 100 injured.
What? A knife attack?
Yeah, 14 guys in cloaks went out and chopped because they don't have guns. So remember
14 guys? I didn't see this.
Yeah, it was a border dispute, they claim, near the Mongolian border, and they just came in and hacked the town apart.
I mean, was it knives or was it like hatchets?
No, they're whatever knives. Those little probably suicide knives from Japan.
Well, you're not talking about the Harry Carey knife.
Yeah, I assume that's what they used. They said they were all, they were obviously sharp. But yeah, they just started. They went into a crowd of people and just started hacking them apart.
Those Japanese blades, dude, those are really sharp.
Yeah,
craftsmen.
I bought one on as seen on TV. They're good. I cut a can and then I cut a tomato.
That's a Ginsu. You don't think those guys were sporting Ginsus in the attack, were they?
Would you imagine if they used Japanese knives?
It stays so sharp. It keeps sharp. It's so sharp.
Chinese knives for shit.
My arm is tired and the blade is still strong.
Yeah, that's the world we live in now.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like there was another guy, a knife attack in the tube, the subway in the UK, and there's a lot of people talking about what they would do in situations like that. And I think some of those things would happen so fast that you are either in the thick of it or you're running because everyone else is running. You know what I mean? Because this was one person in the subway, and by the time someone even got out their camera phone, before they even got video, I mean, there were already like 6 or 7 of the constables standing around until someone finally rustled up a taser gun.
Right.
But I mean, when stuff like that goes down, I mean, there's all this talk, especially over here, especially from Republicans about, and I don't want to get political, but there's talk about like, if there were only people with guns standing around, it's like, how many of those people would even be able to react into a situation? You know?
No, and here's the problem you have is crowd attacks are different. Because if everyone has a gun, you're right. But I've watched enough old Westerns to remember everybody got inside when they had the shootout. Unfortunately, if you're outside, you are the shootout.
Yeah.
So if everyone has guns, then you're shooting, you put 28 more bullets in the air. Quite frankly, it doesn't end the way you think.
No. And I don't know, have you ever played paintball?
Yeah.
Oh, you get in the fog of paint out there, and you don't know what's happening at first. I mean, you go through a couple games of capture the flag, or whatever they've got, the simulated little town, and there's a lot of running and yelling and a lot of adrenaline, and that's not just because the smell of paint. I mean, you really think you're going to get shot, and I mean that's just paint. It hurts. But yeah, I just don't think there's a very fantasy view of what would happen if someone was packing heat in a situation where someone came in and there were 2 people with AK-47s steeled against the idea of what was going to happen way in advance against you, who was just doing someone a favor and dropping off a package at work. You know,
right.
You didn't know this was going to happen. These guys are gearing up for it, you know, until it finally happened. They probably got some music, you know, Call of Duty kind of theme music in their head as they're going in. I mean, it's a whole thing. Is that John?
Is that John?
Oh, well, wait a minute. There he is. Hey, John.
Is it working?
It's working.
It does sound like it works.
Okay. So what are we talking about?
Let me just finish what I was saying. So, okay. Becker, what I was saying was, after you have to make sure that the cupcakes are cooled, and that frosting will set up perfectly. If it goes too soon and it's still warm, the heat will rise and all that frosting will melt. And
I
then
think you were talking about mass shootings.
No, I thought it was muffins with an icing.
I think both are very passionate subjects.
But yeah. Either way, you gotta wait. Okay. You gotta wait to put the sprinkles on until at the end.
No, we were talking about the gearing up for if you were in public and there's something happens, would you be in the same mode as the person creating the threat? In other words, they geared up for this. They're ready. It's game day for them. You're busy going, I was just here to pick up a bagel. And I don't think your reaction time would be quite the same as just even if you're packing. I mean, if you're whipping your gun out on a regular basis, I don't think it ends as well either.
No, well, yeah. I mean, how often do you go to the range and whip out the gun from your back pocket like real quick? I mean, usually you've got a gun in front of you on a mat, and you've got your bullets, and at a gun range, it's way more organized. And yeah, I don't know. I hear so many different things going on right now, and it's just like, wow, none of this is based in reality.
No, and I've decided a long time ago, John, I don't know how you feel about gun laws, but I don't think all the laws in the world are going to help us now. We have too many guns out there. Oh, John left again.
Oh yeah, he popped up. Well, maybe he went to go try that muffin recipe.
Yeah, I knew you shouldn't have put food out there. It's close to dinner for him.
He just remembered that he's actually on lunch break.
He's like, son of a bitch, I have food. I don't need you guys.
Let me see if I can add him to the call. There he is.
There he goes.
Pika
John.
Wait for it.
I got a message about how Skype updated, and now nothing works.
Oh yeah, you had the update that I think Becker went through last week.
God damn it, Skype.
Yeah. It wipes everything out, and I don't get why I'd need to do that.
Ugh.
I lost all the people I declined to accept.
Wait a minute, John. Last week, your computer was down. Is this the computer that was down you're using?
It's back.
Could it possibly be part of that?
No, I think it's just Skype. It's just the calls are dropping, and then like it was. I tried to quit and restart it, and it just sat there and stared at me.
Well, I mean, I don't want to disagree with you, but just from a troubleshooting standpoint, are you at work?
I'm not. I'm at home.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good. And
our work Wi-Fi never works. My home is usually pretty reliable.
I do appreciate that.
I did put, I have some Christmas lights up, and I just read that those can interfere with your Wi-Fi somehow.
Exactly. So, between the fires, yeah.
Yeah, when your house is on fire, it tends to interfere with the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, my Christmas lights are just tiny oil lanterns that I have strung up in my house.
Traditionalist.
Yep.
So, do you want to talk about the snitch bear? Number 2?
Yeah, I think I'm ready to talk about the snitch bear.
Do we have a recipe?
We do. Let me pull up my my Twitter feed so I can actually read the recipe. I don't want to miss anything. I know everybody's waiting.
No, I'm curious. You were getting some really weird recipes that I said, well.
So what happened was John had an offer to it was a contest to win a snitch bear, but you had to come up with a ramen burrito. Was that what it was?
Yeah, ramen burrito recipe.
Yeah, and this is something that you enjoy, and it sounds pretty self-explanatory, but as we kind of alluded to near the end,
I wouldn't really even say I enjoy them, but I'm poor a lot, so
sure.
I have to enjoy them.
Well, it is a project. And I bleeped out a lot of your hints in the podcast last week, so that people wouldn't get a clue as to I think an unnecessary advantage to try and really push the envelope of taste profiles. So I mean, yeah. You gave a couple of clues there, John, that probably would have been pretty easy to replicate.
True. I kind of gave some of my own preferences. So people knew about how I was going to judge this going in.
Uh-huh.
And I had, I had some people messaging me, with things, and they, I got like the standard breakfast burrito. Everybody wants to throw eggs in it, which I appreciate. I like a good breakfast burrito. But I feel like at that point, if you're throwing eggs in it, you're just making a breakfast burrito and then throwing ramen in there, which is unnecessary.
I don't think that that's a good combination.
It tastes fine. I assume you just put enough eggs and cheese and hot sauce, and everything's delicious.
But it seems like the ramen is just laying there on the plate next to it, or laying there in the burrito next to it. It doesn't seem to be a star. The egg and the ramen have a very similar consistency.
True.
Yeah, I would think like I would deep fry the ramen,
or egg coat the ramen, and then cook it. But just laying ramen on top of egg. So, do you have some recipes, John?
I've got my favorite, and I actually tried this one.
Is this the winner?
I think this is a winner. I don't even want to build suspense.
It's weird.
I don't
You're
feel
the
like building
judge,
the
and you're not sure yet.
No, I'm sure. I'm reading all of them just to make sure. Yeah, this is a one. So I think the winner is going to be Will Ferguson, and his Twitter name is @WilburBudd, BUDD, and his recipe is pepperoni, onions, mushrooms, Italian sausage, grated provolone. Saute everything together. I didn't saute the cheese in there because that doesn't work that well, but then I added the cheese at the end. You mix in the ramen, and I kind of sauteed the ramen with everything, and then I wrapped it up in a flour tortilla, threw some salsa on it, and wrapped it up. It's pretty great. It's kind of like a
hoagie.
It's kind of like a hoagie. It's basically like an Italian burrito.
East meets West.
Or it's like a lazy person's calzone. That's how I would really describe it. So lazy person's calzone. You don't have to make the crust. You just throw it in a tortilla. The ramen basically does its job. It acts as a filler. It doesn't really add much except takes up space, which is fine because it's ramen. So, I mean, do I wish I had better recipes to choose from? Yes. But
that one sounds good. I have to wheat tortilla and not use ramen, but yeah.
I think you have to use the ramen though, because if you don't use the ramen, I mean, you could use a shitload of sausage, but it's kind of skimpy on ingredients. So if you don't use the ramen, I don't know, Becker, you probably have some sort of dietary restriction that keeps you.
Well, I can't have the flour tortilla, I can't have the cheese, and I can't have the ramen. So
this doesn't even apply to you at all.
I'm eating pepperoni.
So basically, yeah, it's a cheeseless quesadilla with sausage.
There is cheese. There's a grated provolone.
No, for Becker.
Oh yeah, for Becker.
It really just turns into
yank everything out of his recipe on that.
Here's a can of tomatoes, Becker.
All right. Yeah, I can eat that.
So the ramen does act like a filler to all the meat,
but it kind of absorbs all the grease. So it's actually, you know, I guess you could substitute ramen with just like insulation or whatever.
That spray foam.
Yeah, just soak everything up.
Maybe like the weekend section from the paper, the supplemental. Yep. You can just kind of wet it.
Throw that in your food processor. Chop it all up.
Yeah.
So at Wilbur Bud, if you message me your address, I'll figure out how to get you the snitch bear.
And I haven't mailed the other one because I figured I'd mail them both together. I mean, separately, but at the same time, because I went to the post office, and apparently people still do use the post office.
Oh, yeah.
By the 9-mile line I was faced with.
Here's the problem. There is a small section of people that has to use the post office once in a while, but they only have like one part-time person at the desk.
Is that unbelievable? And they look like they're
about to help
retire.
They want to retire. It just seems like the worst job ever because you're all alone and everybody's mad because they're at the post office.
But do they hire old people or do we just never catch the person who comes in at 23 or 24 and says, this is my career?
Well, yeah, I'm sure back in the 80s, they hired a whole bunch of young people who never quit.
But I've never seen someone young working it. Well, I saw one guy, and I actually knew him through a guy that was in my band. He was a friend of his. And I was like, why is he here? And I realized that, they have to hire young people. I mean, we would hope they hire young people, right? You don't want all the old people with all the knowledge of how to mail things.
But I think now it's just robots. I think it's all robots and these last people.
Well, it's not.
Like
I go to the
keys.
I don't know, man. The post office doesn't seem that high tech. Do they keep all the fancy robots in the back where you can't see them?
Yeah, why would you put him up front? You'd go, fuck, why do I need him?
Then we'd get pissed. Oh, that's where you're spending our money on? Fucking solitaire robots in the back?
They
tax time is when they get me.
How come we can have self checkout at the grocery store? Why can't we have like self checkout at the post office?
Well, they do.
Just put some of those robots.
They have the kiosks.
Remember that robot you wind up and you put a quarter in its hand and it puts it in its mouth? Like, let's just get a couple of those on the counter so we can move the line along. Nobody needs to do anything except like get postage.
Oh, I literally have to stand there while the old guy talks to me about, well, my grandkids, they really like butter. And then I watch as he slowly stamps the right date on my check for the IRS. And then he goes, okay. And I go, now I can go. I just got to make sure you hit it and quit it. Mm-hmm.
I just got back from being gone for about 10 days, and we've DougStanhope.com. The store has had a holiday sale, and I walked into the post office yesterday at 4:00. They close at 4:45. There was a line that I'd never seen. I didn't know that many people even visited the Bisbee post office in a day. They're all in there.
More people than actually live in Bisbee were in line.
It is insane, and I have no less than 52 parcels in 2 huge IKEA bags. And I'm standing there going, what the fuck? What? Oh shit. Holiday mailing. Everyone is there and they're the people who go twice a year. One time during taxes, they go on the 15th, and they also go during Christmas one time, and they have all the questions in the world about the packages and what they're shipping, and what do you mean I can't wrap it with gift wrap?
I'm going to go out on a limb here, Greg, but what was your big sale on DougStandUp.com? Was it a Christmas sale?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Greg, don't you listen to podcasts? You should be using Stamps.com.
I do, but I have to drop everything off.
Ask Mark Barron.
No, we actually use Stamps.com. But I have to take everything down there, and then I'm standing there. I mean, listen, I make it as quick as possible. But if I'm standing in line and there's like 3 people in front of me and 6 people behind me,
you let them go in front of you.
They are looking at me like, this motherfucker. 50
you let them go in front?
Yeah, I let them go.
That's what took so long, because you're a softie.
Well, I get one part done and then I wait, because I like to separate the things for the guy. Here, I'm basically working for the post office at this point. I'm separating things into how they're separated on the other side of the counter to help the guy out. Daniel's our post office guy, and he's really fucking cool. But it just makes it easier for him.
If the post office had more, if they had more than 5 employees nationwide, they could have they could have just been like, oh, you have like 2 tons of product to ship. Why don't we just open another space on the counter for just you? What? So you don't have to let everybody else go ahead of you.
They have 2 check stands, and there's 5 people in the back, mostly supervisors, and there's one guy, very nice guy, very patient, very fucking calm and cool about everything, but he's plugging along by himself, and there's just the other thing says, next window, please. There's never anyone open the second one.
Greg, those supervisors...
If you got a problem with socialism, you should vote. If you have a problem with socialism, you should have voted.
Those supervisors didn't spend 15 months walking a route so they could help you at a counter, Greg. They paid their dues. Now they sit in the back and drink coffee and just like stare at a mailbox full of Santa letters and wonder what to do with them.
Dude, seriously, that's what happened yesterday. I was standing in this line, and then now I'm backed out because I'm just trying to get some more crates to put all these, to separate these parcels into. And I'm waiting because I don't want people to get pissed. They got just one thing or a couple things on them, and I can overhear the supervisor in the back talking with 2 other guys, and one guy just came in from his route. And the supervisor, a female, and another gentleman, a postal carrier, they are both trying to explain to this other guy about the way you're supposed to do something once it's gone through arbitration. So we've got this line of no less than 10 people out front. I got Daniel, the one guy working, and then these 3 people describing, or actually going through the details of when you go through arbitration, and then what they say you have to abide by unless you take it up with your and they doing this whole fucking song and dance back there, and nobody's helping this guy out front. That's the post office.
I'm pro-union up until the point when you see it like that. It's like, it's crazy. But remember, the supervisors are not in the union. So let's always remember that.
Well, she was explaining the way things were going to go down because of arbitration and stuff. And this other guy, I could just see them like off in the back, but I could see this guy. I couldn't see his face, but his posture was one that it's like, don't let him back in if he goes out to his car. Just lock the deadbolt on that thing. This guy did not look happy with what they were fucking telling him. So that's my post office experience.
Can we get some support for Daniel? Please.
He doesn't care. He showed up at the comedy taping we did at the Bisbee Royale a couple of weeks ago. He just walked in to get a drink, and he's like everyone's postman, so everyone knows him. But yeah, it was kind of weird. You don't usually see him like that.
Isn't that the guy you have to watch out for? It's not the one who's visibly upset. It's the one who seems like calm and cool.
Oh yeah,
just like working away.
Serenity Now from Seinfeld.
And he's just silently snapping in his head.
He's great, man. I actually think about that sometimes. I mean, I watch him, and he's fucking cool and like smiling, and everything's fine. And you know, it's 4:00, man. You should be fucking pissed. And he's totally mellow. And that's kind of an inspiration for me to just fucking relax, man. It'll be 4:45 soon enough. Relax. Take that, John. Let that be your takeaway.
Well, I'm just gonna. That's my new mantra. Just relax.
Just relax. It'll all
Be
get done.
Daniel.
Be Daniel. Be the ball. Well, I do have to. I have one thing, a correction from last podcast.
We don't make mistakes, Greg.
I know this was my mistake. It's not Der Wiener Schnitzel. It's now Wiener Schnitzel.
They dropped the article. Didn't I say that in the podcast?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. But I didn't know it at the time. I thought you were. I know you don't prepare, so I thought you were just shooting from the hip.
This German language app I've been using is really paying off.
Paying off. And the other thing is Becker and I talked about it in the beginning. The iTunes reviews. I went and checked it out. We really have no reviews, and I really wish if someone could take a moment to review.
Guys, holy shit!
Good or bad?
At Wilbur Budd, if I'm gonna send you a snitch bear, come on, dude, just take 2 minutes to write it. It doesn't have to be a good review. You can give us a 1-star review.
Well, you don't want to coerce anyone. You're gonna get the bear either way.
You're gonna get the bear either way. But I mean, I'm gonna stand in line at the post office. So.
It might only have one eye, but it's up to you. Ball's in your court.
Can I save a message on the bear so when he opens it and turns it on for the first time, it plays my message?
That's a Becker question.
Becker left.
Where did Becker go?
I don't know. Maybe he was never there. Maybe he recorded all that on the bear.
That was all on the bear. He anticipated our conversation.
It sounded slightly more high pitched than usual.
It was a little high pitched, and I thought it was just the line.
Well, either way, some reviews would be pretty sweet.
Yeah, so I'm just putting that out there. A couple reviews.
I want, any kind of constructive feedback you guys can give us, whether it's, what a great podcast or this is the most inane bullshit I've ever heard. I don't know why I'm still listening. I'll take either of those. I did
hear, I saw on Twitter that someone had mentioned Creed. Brian Hennigan, Doug Stanhope's manager, mentioned that he had seen Creed, and he was just completely glowing about the movie. He had a lot. I mean, he had a lot of good things to say about it, and that reminded me of you talking about it. And then someone said that Becker and I panned it, or Near the Wild panned it, which we panned it only in that we don't like the franchise. We hadn't seen the movie. I mean, I'm sure I won't like it if I see it, but it's just because
I think you'll like it.
Well, maybe. But I'm not really a fan of those kind of movies. I haven't been in the previous 5 Rocky movies.
You've seen all of them?
No, I haven't seen any of them.
Oh, then how do you know you don't like them?
I'm just not into that genre of movie.
I mean, you didn't know you liked Negronis until you tried your first one.
Yeah, you are correct. Well, I do have Star Wars is kind of looming, and I do want to see Krumpuses.
Yeah. Is it Krampus or Crumpus?
I always heard it Krampus.
Becker says Krampus. I thought it was Krampus.
Well, I think it's spelled Krampas. Krampus.
I don't know if anybody can give us a.
But I spent some time in the Salzburg, Austria, and it was during December, and those fuckers were roaming the streets.
Krampus.
Absolutely, they do it every year, and they just get drunk on schnapps and put on these outfits, and they go terrorizing through the streets. And if you're on the street, you're fucking fair game, man.
For what? What do they do to you?
They have sticks, switches, like a bundle of sticks, and they'll smack you with them. They'll terrorize you. I mean, it's not like they're like punching you out and fucking robbing you. But it
sounds very sexy.
Well, it's the whole idea behind it is it's supposed to scare kids into being nice. It's the anti-Santa Claus, right?
What is?
Krumpuses.
Yeah, Krumpuses. I went to that movie.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I went to it. Opening day.
Where have you been, Becker?
What?
Where have you
I
been?
had to go get a package. Fucking that Amazon Prime is ruining my life.
All right, Daniel.
Every day, new shit shows up. But yeah, I went to Krampus, and I will tell you what, they should have called it concussion because I was banging my head on the seat in front of me.
Why?
It was fucking the biggest piece of shit I've
Really?
ever seen in my life. It was horrible. How do you take a classic fairy tale from another country and destroy it like that.
You just described basically every movie.
No, it was bad. It was worse than Red Dawn 2.
Well, Becker
There's no Red Dawn 2.
Yeah, I think there was.
There's a remake.
Freddie Prinze Jr., you love him. He plays him.
All these details are wrong, guys. I love Red Dawn 2.
Hey, Becker, in '89, when I was in Salzburg for 3 months, I was there September, October, November, and a little bit of December.
Love the steak, hate the people.
Well, it was fucking. We ran into they do that. They run through the streets, and they do that, and it is fucking horrifying.
Yeah.
But I mean, they ended up into one of the guys was the son of the guy who ran the hotel that all of us were staying in. There were 30 of us. And so when he was done, he came by the hotel and he brought them in there, and we're in this little like seated area, like small little restaurant area that's attached to the hotel. And it was almost like turning over tables. It was fucking mayhem until the guy finally pulled off his fucking horned, crazy kabuki mask. And it was this guy that we'd been drinking beers with for the past couple of months. And he's like, it's okay. I was like, what the fuck?
Wait a minute. You're Krampus? Yeah.
This guy, yeah, but it was all him and his buddies, and they were all, football guys, and they had all fucking geared up and got in and were drinking, schnapps and fucking lit, running the streets. And they do, and this is the thing that they get people to do this, and it's all part of the tradition, and it is a lot of fun. But we had no idea what the fuck was going on when they said they were going to share with us a tradition of the holidays.
Yeah.
So it was just like a surprise spanking.
Exactly. With no safe word.
No, it's an amazing thing. And what they did with the movie was they weren't sure if it was a comedy or scary movie or what, so they did a little bit of everything.
I feel like that's a nice way of saying that the comedy wasn't funny.
Oh, backpedal.
I mean, they're busy blood and gore and ripping people apart, and then they could tell a joke. See, when I hear that, did animation in the middle for the old lady when she was a child. They did a cartoon animation.
Spoiler? Are you going to spoil it?
As her call. What? Who cares? Don't waste your money. Wait till it's on Netflix 3. I don't care. It's horrible. It was not. I went at the matinee, whatever, is $8, and I went. That was fucking horrible. I'm never going to another movie.
Ever. That one ruined it all.
Ever.
Boycotting movies.
I do. I'm so used to like Tim Burton stuff that I went. How bad could it be? It could be really bad, people. The scariest thing in that movie is going to it.
Well, I like the horror comedy genre because of Ash versus Evil Dead that's on right now. It reminded me of that it can be done. So when I heard that Krampus was going to be like a horror comedy, I just immediately thought of something that I've been watching lately, and that was, a takeoff from or like a continuation of the Evil Dead. So that you're right, John. I think that's backpedaling or maybe they wrote in some things that were funny, but it's just not funny.
If you want a positive spin, put Charlie Sheen on a Ferris wheel.
So, Glenn Wool's coming up the 15th.
Yes, he is.
So that's coming up, right? Oh, that's next week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Next week is actually Glenn Wool.
Fantastic comic, Canadian comic, but he actually did comedy over in the UK for years.
Have we found any evidence of the Glenn Wool show?
No,
I think you're thinking of someone else.
Is he on Twitter? I'm gonna ask him.
Yes, he's on Twitter.
You could ask him next week.
Yeah, you could ask him in person.
Well, I want to ask him now.
So you think that there's some show, the Glenn Wool show?
I think there's a show called the Glenn Wool Show or something where he started his own sitcom.
You're not thinking of Tom Rhodes, right?
Yeah, see, that's who I thought you were thinking of.
See, Tom Rhodes had a sitcom in the late 80s in America, and then he went over, and I think it was in
Australia.
the Netherlands. No, it was in the Netherlands.
Was it?
That he had a late night talk show over there. That's easy to find.
Now, this wasn't a talk show. It was a sitcom. And I'm pretty sure it's Glenn Wool. He wore a lot of denim.
That's anyone from Canada. Yeah, that part works. But
and there was an episode. I watched like half of an episode on YouTube, and it was about like a ghost or something.
Are you sure it wasn't the one that was married to the alcoholic actress?
You got to narrow it down, Becker.
Oh, Green. Tom Green.
Tom Green.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't. I know who Tom Green is.
No, I know that. I just didn't know if with denim it clouded your vision.
No. God, I swear to God.
Blinded by denim.
There's denim, though, so that's the only part that's got your story believable.
Yeah, that's the only one that's leaving me in the conversation is that
little bit of truth in an urban legend.
Yeah, enough to make it carry over.
And he had a toothbrush in his rectum.
I'll get to the bottom of it before he gets here.
All right. And I did see that Coots has New Year's Eve already posted your entertainment, the Young Dubliners.
Yes, indeed. Young Dubliners will be playing, and we have it's just a plethora of entertainment on New Year's Eve.
Good score.
It is crazy the amount of entertainment we're going to have on New Year's Eve. And then Friday, I think we have something going on too.
And then after
it's not a New Year's Eve, it's a Thursday New Year's Eve, and then you have Friday and Saturday before Matt flees the country.
You help clean up. Well, yeah, I was going to ask you, John or Matt, when do you leave for Costa Rica, and how long are you gone this time?
I will be leaving shortly after the Young Dubliners,
yeah.
And I will be going. I think January 5th. I take off, and I'll be back March 7th, 10 days before St. Patrick's Day. Tradition.
All right. Well, this will be our third year of the Devil's Triangle.
Would you understand? We're approaching 50,000 downloads.
Oh yeah,
50,000 downloads, people.
So are we doing well? I don't know how to gauge this.
Well,
50,000 of it is well.
What do you think? How would you like to gauge it? Like how many people listen?
I don't know. I'm having fun. I just like talking to you guys.
Yeah.
Nobody could listen, and I would still show up.
Yeah, that's what usually happens.
So,
I mean, in conversations, it's usually just the people having the conversation.
So isn't it kind of odd that it's like we are in a bar having a conversation, but then there's like everybody else in this huge bar is just like eavesdropping on us,
like listening in.
Sort of disconcerting.
John, what I do is I'm a historian when it comes to stuff, and so I go back. When my dad grew up, they had a thing known as party lines, in which if you couldn't afford a full personal phone, you had what was known as a party line, in which everyone shared it. So they gave you one line, and basically a town could use it. And so if you lifted the phone, somebody could already be talking to someone, and you could actually make your call, and you could all talk together.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could listen to their call, which is how small towns knew everybody's business. My point is that we went from that to personal. Now we have cell phones, and now we have podcasts, and podcasts are basically the party line basically brought back, in which people now just listen to our phone calls.
Hold on, guys. My doctor's actually calling right now, so you guys can listen.
Put him on.
Put him on, yeah.
I know. I just kicked out Rame. Rame stopped by to drop off some stuff that he bought for me in Las Vegas. And he is a commercial fisherman. And he goes out in the open sea, does crabbing and everything else. It's a family business. They've done it forever. And I just shoot him out the door. And I went, why the fuck didn't I have Rame on the podcast talking about commercial fishing? He was in my living room waiting while we were doing this.
You're annoyed that he's there, and you really should have asked him to stay.
I don't know why I was thinking, but yeah, I just
one thing we can work on for the next 3 years of doing this podcast. We should get a better talent booker, because we're not really good at getting other people on the podcast.
Well, it's been weird because we need to get the that Kickstarter. We're gonna do a Kickstarter. I recently had a friend that moved out of town, and he started a Kickstarter because he's leaving. He moved to a different city, and I thought the Kickstarter's gotten out of control. It's like, it's your choice to leave town. I get it.
Yeah,
but do you really want me to give you money to leave?
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on how much of a friend it is.
See, in the old days in Alaska, when you owed everyone money, you left, and that was how you got out of town.
Yeah.
Now they're asking me for money to leave. I go, well, this would be like you owe me money and you're leaving.
But with no promise of ever getting.
Yeah.
Well, no, yeah, you're walking into the situation, whereas it used to be end up in that situation.
And he moved down south, which is just a shithole, I always say.
But if he reaches his stretch goals, you might get a T-shirt that just says like, I helped Jeff like rent a U-Haul.
Yeah, I don't even think he had that kind of plan. I was just like, I just don't understand it. Now they ask for money to leave town. It used to be they owed money, so they left town. That was how you got rid of deadbeats.
Man.
Well, I guess, I mean, you don't need any other equipment, do you?
No.
No, we just need to John needs to sit down with me in the same room.
Well, that's not going to
Very
happen.
hard to track John down.
I need to travel across town.
That's a stretch goal.
But we need to set it up. Yeah. The Black Friday thing, I went out and surveyed it, and it wasn't going to work the way I thought it would.
For what? What do you mean?
Well, we were going to go interview people during Black Friday.
Oh, that's right.
I went, you know what? They were so flat anyway.
Yeah.
Like I said, I watched people argue over a toaster. I go, that'd have been about as amusing as us talking to them.
It would have just been us like walking around trying to find people and then getting distracted by like deals for dumb shit. Like,
no, but
knives.
grab an employee, see if we can get a cheaper price than the cheapest price that they've ever offered. Like,
but what are you going to be like, Billy on the Street, that show that's on deep cable?
Yeah, but not as funny.
Yeah, not near as funny as that. No, I wanted to just get an ethnic flair to the whole thing and just like go to like, hey, like go to a fast food place and go, what's your Black Friday sales? Kid's like, what? Can I get an extra hash brown?
For the same price, I won't sneeze in your sandwich. How about that?
You know what's weird? Too bad, REI. I had all this money I was going to spend on stuff, and you weren't open on Black Friday, so I spent it all. Sorry, Black Friday.
Do you think that's a bad thing, being closed on Thanksgiving?
I just thought it was very pretentious. We legalized weed, so they couldn't get anybody to come in on Friday. So then all of a sudden they go, we're just going to close. I go, you didn't do it for fucking any reason. You did it because all your stoner friends now are out snowboarding. Their employees are all fucking just jacked up stoned constantly now.
They did it for the media attention of like this big store like making the stand against consumerism. But it flipped on him because did you read about the head of REI doing a Ask Me Anything on Reddit, and like all these like former and current REI employees started like getting on and being like, REI is the worst company to work for, and talking about how they like push people to get like members to sign up, and it's just like it's kind of like a big Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, well, it's 100% Ponzi scheme. I get $8 back every year when I buy thousands of dollars worth of stuff.
But I mean, come on, you didn't think you were going to retire on what you get back from REI.
No, I just bought a backpack. Then I go and shove it full of stuff and run out every day.
Keep the $8.
You know what? That's the thing is it's a hard store to steal from because all those people are in really good shape. It's easier to steal from Walmart.
Yeah, really.
Security guy can't run you.
I'm a REI member because for two reasons. One, I'm like totally outdoorsy and like, love nature and pushing myself in God's country. And two, because if you remember, you can just return anything for any reason and they don't ask questions.
Yeah.
That is amazing. That part is amazing.
Worth it alone, because like you get a hole in your jacket, you just take it back and say, this got a hole in it somehow.
John, have you ever gone to the REI garage sale where all the returns they resell them?
I've seen some of the stuff. I don't know if I've ever been to like the event.
I went there with a friend and we went and they go, oh, the girl grabs us right, we're about walking out the door after buying, a Frisbee. And she goes, oh, the garage sale's going on if you guys were interested. And we're like, where's that? And they go, it's way back past the bathroom. We're like, oh, okay. So we go back and look. It's literally tents that clearly have been used for over a year. I mean, they're weather beaten. One of the tents had scraped on the window. It said, help me. And I was like, where do you get this? I mean, it was clearly used stuff. Burners, like those cooking. I mean, it'd been used. I mean, the paint was peeling off the gas tank on it. I'm like, you guys take anything back. That's amazing.
Becker, where are you going to get a better deal on a sex tent? Like just a tent that like a group of people took out the woods to fuck like crazy, and then they're like, "Yeah, this has stains all over it, so we can't use it anymore."
Yeah, that's why hippies can't have garage sales. They ain't got no garage. No, it was amazing though. I was really impressed with how dilapidated and stuff. And the guy's like, we'll probably give you a better deal. I go, it's a bike with no wheels. I mean, what am I going to do with it? I just like, let me drag it out.
We'll get this backpack that only has straps, put them together.
That's a titanium frame. I go, oh, that's great. But it doesn't have wheels. Do you understand? Well, we sell wheels. Well, how much are the wheels? They're $300 a piece. I go, wow, I could almost see myself buying a $600 bike.
Just wait around until someone returns them, the wheels.
Yeah, the guy probably sold them. Anyway, I don't get it. I don't get the whole RA experience, but I do enjoy it. It's I go there, and like I said, I buy the weird stuff. That's where, the best place to get the kites. I bought a kite there for Costa Rica, right?
Kites? Like the two-handled kites, or just like the one with the tail on it and the kids run after?
Sports kites.
Sports kites, yeah.
Extreme kites, Greg.
Battle kites.
Extreme. There you go. John summed it up. Extreme.
Nobody's just putting a kite in the air to watch a ribbon fly around. You got to make it do tricks.
Well, John, you just summed it up.
The X Games of kites.
I grew up with bat kites, and they make these amazing nylon kites, but they all have to have tails to keep stable. And I go, I had bat kites that didn't need that.
Yeah.
Remember? I don't want a tail on my bat kite.
The bat kite was Becker, the bat kite, just back up for a second. That was just like the triangle that was in the air, right?
And the first thing you learn with bat kites, you can buy cheap bat kites like up here even, but when you take them to Costa Rica, because it's 80 to 90 degrees every day, when you're flying a black kite in the sky, it starts loosening up the plastic and it stretches, and all of a sudden your kite starts doing that spin and then it crashes, kind of like a Russian plane. Anyway.
Tucker Campbell, former person we've talked about on the podcast. Before he moved down to Colorado, he and I went kite flying on the park strip, and I mean, I could leave it.
No, you're not doing it right then.
Way to ramp up that story.
John, kite flying is one of the last great arts, and I don't understand why they're using prisons to smuggle drugs, but that's just me. But
it's kind of noticeable. It's not the most clandestine way of sneaking drugs into a prison.
I don't think you're allowed to fly a kite within like a mile of a prison
or an airport. Yeah, it turns out. Yeah. But anyway, kite flying, I've always enjoyed it. And I bought an REI kite. I brought it down there. They sold these apparently fucking 30-foot nylon ribbon separate. And so my kite would just spin and hit the ground and well, it would be 40. Because here's the thing. The only thing that can happen in Costa Rica, it's always going to be warm, beautiful, and sunny. The only thing you hit is windy days. And you know that, Greg, from when you were down there.
Yeah.
When the high winds come out, you go, kite, guess what? Day doesn't suck now. And guess what? Without the tail, it sucked really bad.
Yeah, you can improvise that, right?
No, apparently not. $50 kite just spins and falls and hits the ground. And all the locals look at me like, what is wrong with you? And I go, I don't know. It's fucking blowing cars off the road, but I can't get my kite up. Made me look impotent.
That's not fair.
REI.
Yeah.
Members only.
Well, I want to know what you guys, what are your plans for Christmas? Does anyone, like Becker, you've been married for a long time, so you guys are pretty stable.
The reason I married my wife, and God love her, is when we were first going out and stuff, she goes, I can't stand the over-commercialization of Christmas, and we don't buy each other anything. And the reason we don't do it is not because we don't like each other. But I said, wouldn't you rather spend the money on something you'd rather do than have? And she said, that's the best way I've ever heard it put. And that's the thing. So we go to Costa Rica. And
Becker, then you die, and it looks like you don't have any stuff.
But you know what? You can't.
I love the commercialization.
You can't take it with you.
They say that, but I feel like whenever I buy something, it duplicates in my mansion in heaven, and so when I die, all my stuff will already be there. It's kind of like when you buy a DVD, then it has like a digital download too.
Oh,
yeah, because it goes up to the cloud, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I love the commercialization of Christmas.
So what is hell to you, John? What is hell to you? Hell when you go When you go to hell and all the stuff around you people have is stuff you bought, and you're like, hey, that was mine.
Hell is when you arrive in hell and you just have to spend eternity reliving all of the shitty concerts you spent money to go to.
Oh, is that not true, though? I mean, Scott Weiland died. We need to say STP. I grew up with STP. And quite frankly, I think I saw him in his prime.
I never saw him, but I appreciated Stone Temple Pilots a lot.
I don't think I saw a talk show, which is Scott Weiland less STP. It was like all the guys in STP without Scott, and they opened for Foo Fighters on Foo Fighters' first tour, and they were complete. I mean, I like STP, but they were completely unmemorable as a band.
What was the Scott Weiland band with Slash?
That was fuck.
And some other, wasn't there some other famous people in there too?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Roy
it was
Orbison, Roy Orbison, Tom Petty.
Oh, the traveling Wilburys.
Traveling heroin addicts.
No, Slash was in it. Duff McKagan was in it. I think the drummer, the second drummer, Matt Sorum from the Cult and later Guns N' Roses. I think he was in it. What was that?
Girl died today.
It was. Hold on a second. What was that band? They traveled around for a while.
Yeah, what was that? I cannot. It's right on the tip. But Scott, what do you call it? John Lennon was shot today.
Oh no! Today? Just now?
I mean, 35 years ago. Yeah, but he died, and also I didn't know that Dimebag Darrell died on the same day.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's the new 28.
48's the new 28.
Yeah.
Were they all the same age? Velvet Revolver.
Velvet
Revolver. That's right. I have their album.
The band that he was in touring with is called the Wildabouts, or Scott Weiland and the Wildabouts. And that was, he died on one of the tour buses in some fucking hotel parking lot. And, I don't know anything about the Wildabouts, but I do remember when we were finishing up a tour in Flint, Michigan with Doug, we were playing at this place called the Machine Shop. And they got this really cool backstage area where there's all these pictures of bands that have performed all on the walls. And it's just in the green room area. And there was a picture of Scott Weiland and the Wildabouts. And I asked him, I go, were they just here? Because I don't remember hearing about this band. This must be new. And he goes, yeah, this was their first show of the gig. And I go, well, how did it work out? Because I know he's had a lot of troubles with drugs and stuff and being on tour. And he said, well, Scott Weiland shows up and the band is all here and he refused to sound check. I said, well, that could happen. He goes, he had never met the band members before. In fact, the band members showed up a couple hours earlier to set up and to sound check, and they were trying to figure out what the songs were then. And still Scott did not go on and sound check before the show. That these guys were just left to fucking figure out his music on the fly. And I thought, this is not going to end well. This was the first night.
Yeah, but see, you're a naysayer. Yeah.
When I said, I don't think this is going to end well, I think I was being optimistic. I thought they were just going to break up. I didn't think it was going to end up in a fucking Red Roof Inn parking lot in a GMC fucking RV.
Well, that's where we all end up someday.
Eventually.
No, some of us end up in a tour bus. But no, I was a weird one. It was, I mean, everyone expected it. But Bart had just seen him in Detroit. Bart and Randolph went and saw them, and he said it was okay.
Oh, their triumphant return. I think they were at like a Hard Rock or something, right?
Yeah, I think it was at the Hard Rock. Yeah, Hard Rock. They don't drug test their performers.
No way. Or their cooks, thank God.
Do places drug test their performers?
Actually, yeah, Las Vegas, it turns out. Remember Bruno Mars getting nailed for coke in the bathroom?
Really?
Yeah. He was working at the club they arrested him at. That was crazy. The bathroom attendant called the security, and then security called the LAP or the Las Vegas PD,
Well, did
they
they
arrested
know
him for cocaine possession. I
did
go,
they know
"Work
who he
for your
was?
club."
Because I don't know. I don't know what celebrities look like anymore. So maybe they didn't know. It was just a kid doing coke in the bathroom. And
Well, maybe he should have been in the green room bathroom. Maybe maybe this is all his fault. Maybe he was like, fuck, I fucked up.
it's definitely his fault either way.
That story always amazed me. That one, and then when they nailed that hockey player that was in, he was at, I won't say the Flamingo, maybe it was the Flamingo, but he was going to the pool and they searched him because they searched their pockets going in, and he just had swim shorts on, but he had ecstasy and some coke in his back pocket, and they called security, called the police
into the pool,
and they arrested him. Yeah, but I mean, it's like I'm in your VIP suite. I didn't know your in-house staff would arrest and throw me in jail. But he didn't make the playoffs either.
This is how like celebrities get treated in Vegas. What chance do I have? A guy who spends like $60 on slot machines.
Yeah,
I'm
fucked.
telling you, what happens in Vegas apparently stays in Vegas. They're talking about the celebrities. They stay in Vegas because they're under arrest. That's how they do 5 shows. I guess you'll be working the Tropicana next week, jackass.
That's what I was going to say. Hey, man, you do 3 shows on a Sunday. You're going to want some blow.
No, but the point is they're all under house arrest. They can't leave.
Yeah, they can't.
Celine Dion got caught with an ounce of coke. She's now doing 5 shows a night.
3 years. John, you got anything?
I have a new short film that I made this last weekend for the Quick Freeze.
What's the quick freeze?
It's part of the Anchorage International Film Festival. Every year they put on this 6-day challenge where you have 6 days to make a 5-minute movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think we actually only use like 2 days. And so I got this new short film, and the screening's on Thursday, so I'll post it on Friday.
All right, cool.
Very cool.
I think it turned out pretty well. I'm pretty happy with it.
And what's it called?
It's called Video GIRLZ.
Video GIRLZ. Is that the working title, or is that what you're going to call it?
That's what I've called it.
All right, so I'll put that in the show notes, and they can go to the AIFF website and check out Video GIRLZ.
Yep. I'll post. I'll tweet it out, and I'll make sure anybody who wants to see it can watch it.
All right, and one more time, give the name of the guy who won the Snitch Bear, so he can contact you on Twitter.
At Wilbur Bud.
All right.
Good job, Wilbur.
Great job. Delicious burrito.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Near the Wild. I'm Matt Becker, sitting in a bus in Anchorage, Alaska.
I'm John Norris, sitting in an extra bedroom in Anchorage, Alaska. I think I have a draft coming through.
And I'm Ggreg Chaille, back in Bisbee, Arizona.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Near the Wild podcast with Matt Becker and John Norris, recorded in Anchorage, Alaska on Matt Becker's backyard bus. Engineered by me, Ggreg Chaille.
Hey, guys, I got to get out of here pretty soon, so...
Real quick, let's add a bunch of content. I talked to a fisherman guy. He told me how he almost died this year crabbing, but yeah, that we didn't get that.